Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the onset, I stand to support this budget, and I want to congratulate the formidable chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee and the committee members. Honorable Speaker, this is the largest committee members in one committee. And for that reason, I think their purview of what they do or what is there in the budget in terms of equity, in terms of the spread of the budget, in terms of budget coverage, must be the best, and they must be on the spot in what they are doing. Honorable Speaker, I want to first start with the issue of security. Security is the anchor around which a government or a state exists. It is that instrument that allows the development within a country, because in the absence of security, then a lot of these good things we talk about will not be there. In this, I'm talking about the National Police Service, the Kenya Defense Forces, the Correctional Service, and the national government administrative officers in the field. These people perform the best for us. For this House to be able to sit today in the afternoon to discuss the budget is because this country is secure. For us to be on the roads, in the schools, in many places doing development or chores in our homes is because there is security. For that reason, we must continuously improve in their working environment, in their welfare and motivation to do the best in wherever they are working. Through modernization, that they must have the best equipment to be able to carry out their duties. In this, I'm talking about mobility, that there must be enough vehicles, enough protective vehicles, such as the APCs, and also firepower and force protection, that the individual that we send out in the field, that policeman who is chasing robbers down the alley, must be protected enough for him or her to feel secure. Honorable Speaker, in this, it is paramount that we must continuously build the human capacity of all these institutions so that the best are out there to serve this country when we are doing other things. Honorable Speaker, we must also invest in technology so that Kenya and Kenyans see that we are moving beyond the 21st century, because the world is about technology. It is through technology that we use what you call economy of effort, that we are using a few policemen when we can use hundreds, a few boots on the ground in KDF when we have one or two aircraft, or sophisticated equipment that reduces the dependence on manpower. Honorable Speaker, education is the single most equalizer. Honorable Mreu raised a very pertinent issue of feeding in the schools. I think in ASAL, those of us from the ASAL, if there's no feeding program, then majority of our learners will not be able to attend the school. And if we are going to say, let us spread that across the country, it is a welcome thing. But for us to say, let us share what is there, it simply means you are going to disadvantage those who are already so much disadvantaged that this is the basic thing that they get to be able to go to school. And as members from the ASAL or the pastoralists, we are not going to say that the children in Muranga or Gatanga, for that matter, are not qualified to be entitled to this. But we are saying, let it come at the right time. Because the issue of NACONEC, many members before us really fought to have NACONEC in place. And as we sit here today, NACONEC is still not at the right place we want, because it is not well funded, it is not well focused, and there are too many interests that are still pulling NACONEC down. Because we have said NACONEC must have a council that is able to focus its activities. Honorable Speaker, in this budget, I see the issue of continuity, the issue of collaboration, and the issue of saving. For the first time, our budget has come down from 3 trillion or 4 trillion to just 2.3 trillion. This is indicative that let us cut our cloth according to our size, because we cannot spend money that we do not have. If you are going to raise the budget ceiling to 3 trillion or 4 trillion, it means we are going to tax Kenyans to the bone. Already Kenyans are talking about taxation. But for this particular instance, I want to thank the government, the president for that matter, for making sure that we don't spend or we look for money that we do not have. On the same, what is indicative of this is that we are going to spend our money. We are not going to borrow for the budget. The problem today is this country is heavily burdened. Most of our money goes to paying debts. How long are we going to pay debts? And yet we are growing our budget when the economy does not have that capacity to achieve that. Honorable Speaker, the idea of grassroots development, bottom-up economic development, when you are going to put more money in CDF, when you are going to put more money in electricity, in rural infrastructure, in Kera, it means that we are looking at those areas, those enclaves that are normally disadvantaged or nobody is looking at them. So for that reason, I think as members of this House, particularly as members of single constituency, I think the onus is on us for prudent use of those resources at the grassroots. Honorable Speaker, in youth affairs and creative economy, I think this is the elephant in the room. A country that has 60% of its population, or going to 70%, that they are youth. Then we must look at it in an economic sense. What do we do with youth? What amount of resources should we put in that energy? Yes, most of the youth are in education, but there's majority that is not in education. Those that are out there who are hustling. During this budget, we are looking at youth empowerment services, youth development services. In context, looking at what resources has been put there, I think we must scratch our heads to say that, can we put more in youth so that they are able to be productive? Because 60% of our population is really not a joke. Honorable Speaker, finally, I want to talk about the livestock economy. Livestock contributes 8% to the GDP. And until this government, not much has been talked about livestock. And yet, 2/3 or 3/4 of this country is livestock producing area. So with those remarks, I beg to support.